Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So whenever a champion that I like to play or a champion that I just think is impactful or is insanely overpowered finally gets nerfed, or the opposite, a champion that finally gets a big buff, I always like to talk about it, talk to you guys about the change, what it could mean, and my thoughts on it. And it just so happens that Zed just a few minutes ago received some nerfs on the PBE server. So I'll be going over those Zed nerfs, giving you guys an idea of what it could mean for Zed, if it's a big nerf, if it's a small nerf, or what exactly it overall means for him. And following that, we'll be talking about some Azir nerfs that are also on the PBE server. So if you guys end up enjoying this video for whatever reason, make sure to hit that like button, but let's get right into it. Alright, so here are the nerfs for Zed. It seems like they're doing something really similar to what I said in my other video as to how they could potentially nerf Zed that I also referenced from a Reddit post. So the base damage on Zed's Q ability is lowered, and the difference between the live server and the PBE server is only increasing per rank, where at rank 5 it'll actually have a difference of 25 damage. The AD ratio is being decreased from 1.0 to 0.9, which honestly isn't that bad, but on the flip side, the damage on the same target with multiple shurikens has been increased. So rather than dealing only 50% of the shuriken's damage to a target that already got hit by a shuriken, it'll now deal 75% of the total damage. So what exactly is the difference between the live server and the PBE server in terms of how much damage you'll do with 2 or 3 shurikens on the same target? So let's pretend your shuriken is at rank 5 and you have enough AD to make the overall shuriken damage be at 300. So that means on the live servers with a 1.0 bonus AD scaling on your Q, that will obviously mean that you have 65 bonus AD coming from your items or whatever. So the live server is that if he were to land 1 Q, well, that's going to be 300 damage. If he lands 2 Qs, then that's going to be 450, and if he lands all 3 Qs, that's 650 damage. But now let's take a look at the new Zed, the one that got changed on the PBE. The base damage on the Q at rank 5 is 210, and it only has a 0.9 AD ratio scaling now. So in other words, that'll be 210 plus 58.5, because 90% of 65 is 58.5. Putting those numbers together will give you 268.5 damage on one single shuriken compared to the 300 from the live server. So landing just one shuriken on the PBE server will result in about 30 less damage in this specific scenario. But let's take a look at multiple shurikens, because now the damage on multi-hit on same target is 75% rather than 50, which means 75% of 268.5 is 201.4. Or in other words, all your other shurikens after the first one will deal 201.4 damage. So if you were to land 2 shurikens on your target, you will actually deal 469.9 damage, and if you land all 3, you will be outputting 671.3 damage. So about 20 more damage or so. So I'm sure that was a lot of math and I hope it wasn't too confusing, but essentially what they're trying to do is, as you saw through the numbers, the more shurikens you land on your target, the more damage you will do, but not by an insane amount, and if you only land 1 shuriken, it's just simply going to do less damage. But then we also have the change to his death mark, where now the proc damage has been increased by 5% at every single rank, but the AD ratio has been halved. Now this isn't all that bad, and the reason I say that is because a lot of Zeds don't even go for just some kind of full AD build. A lot of Zeds maybe get Youmuu's, get their armor penetration, and then they go for something like a Black Cleaver. He doesn't really get that much flat AD stats from Black Cleaver. You're going for that armor penetration, which will work with this proc damage even better. But it does mean that once you get your final build, chances are you will be doing overall less damage, unless you land all 3 shurikens, to which I believe it will be more or less the same. So keep in mind that these changes are not necessarily final, but it is giving us a really good idea on what Riot is trying to do, where they're trying to make Zed a lot more high risk, high reward gameplay. I'm all for these changes. I think it's fantastic to have assassins that have high risk, high reward type scenarios where if you played well, you're rewarded with some fantastic plays and outcomes, and if you mess up, then you're not gonna have the best outcome. But now that we got the Zed nerfs out of the way and you have a better idea as to what it can mean for him, let's quickly talk about the somewhat big Azir nerfs. So here they are. First of all, his W can no longer be used on towers to deal the bonus damage, which is big because right now Azir, he's extremely strong when it comes to taking down towers. He can push in towers really easily, he can use his W, it'll destroy them pretty fast as well, and I mean, this is a pretty big change. But something in my gut is telling me that, you know what, even though it sounds insanely big, it's not really gonna be all that impactful. Following that, we also have another change to his ultimate where the wall duration has been lowered to flat out 3 seconds from 5, 6, and a total of 7 seconds at rank 3, to also not even granting extra move speed when allies walk through it. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I play Azir, I almost completely forget that the wall even increases the move speed for allies when they walk through it because I almost never see it happen. But now, with the new duration on the ultimate, that one is going to be a little bit unfortunate because a lot of the time, a skilled Azir player will use this wall and how it stays in front of him for a decent amount of time to outplay their opponents further. But lasting for only 3 seconds is very unfortunate. I mean, you're not going to have a lot of time to do what you want to do. You'll have to either kill your target or just peace out much quicker. And I'm not really happy about that change. I feel like just having the wall there for 5, 6, or 7 seconds was perfectly fine. I don't really see why they have to change that, so I'm definitely a little bit unhappy with that. I honestly feel like just removing the W damage and the 20% move speed from the ultimate should be more than enough to try out and see how it goes. And then maybe if Azir is still insanely strong, which honestly he isn't unless you're very skilled with him, then they can look for further nerfs like the reduced duration on his wall. Whew, but that is about it for this video, guys. A lot of information, a lot of in-depth analysis, but I really hope you guys did enjoy it and learn something new or have a better idea as to what these nerfs can mean. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and check out my other videos as well. But I truly thank each and every one of you for watching, and I hope to see you for the next video. Peace.
Can't stop me wanting you somehow.